Hey there, amazing viewers. Welcome to True Life Stories, where we bring you the most incredible real-life moments that will leave you shocked and inspired. Today's story shows what happens when someone in power experiences how their business really treats people. Get ready for an unforgettable lesson in humility and justice. The sun was setting as Robert Downey pulled into the parking lot of Westside Medical Center. He parked his modest sedan in the regular visitor section, deliberately avoiding the reserved spaces near the entrance. Today, he wasn't coming as the wealthy businessman who owned the entire hospital chain. He was visiting as an ordinary person to see how his staff treated regular patients when they thought no one important was watching. Robert adjusted his simple clothing, worn jeans, a plain gray sweater, and glasses he rarely wore in public. He had been receiving some concerning emails from patients about rude staff and poor treatment. Rather than sending in evaluators who might change how the staff behaved, he decided to see for himself. His assistant had made him a fake appointment under a different name, which he had deliberately missed, giving him a reason to be in the waiting area. The hospital waiting room was crowded with people of all ages. Some looked visibly ill, while others sat patiently with family members. Robert took a seat in the corner, pulled out his phone, and pretended to be busy while observing everything around him. He noticed immediately that the receptionist barely looked up when patients approached the desk, and the nurses seemed rushed and impatient. After about 20 minutes of observation, Robert heard loud footsteps approaching. Dr. Miller, the head physician he had hired 3 years ago but had never met in person, stormed into the waiting area. The doctor's white coat was pristine, but his face was contorted with frustration as he scanned the room. "We are running behind schedule," Dr. Miller announced to everyone, not bothering to apologize. "If you've been waiting more than an hour, you might want to reschedule." Several patients sighed, and a woman with a coughing child looked on the verge of tears. Dr. Miller then pointed directly at Robert. "You there, with the glasses. Are you even on today's appointment list? I don't recognize your face." Robert looked up calmly. "I had a 3 o'clock appointment, but I was a bit late. I'm still hoping to be seen." Dr. Miller's face flushed with anger. "Well, that's not how it works here. If you're late, you lose your slot. We have policies for a reason." His voice grew louder with each word. "This isn't a coffee shop where you can just stroll in whenever you feel like it." An elderly woman sitting nearby flinched at the doctor's harsh tone. A young nurse at the station looked uncomfortable but kept her head down, continuing to sort through files. "I understand," Robert replied quietly, "but I drove quite a distance to get here, and my issue is somewhat urgent." "Everyone's issue is urgent to them," Dr. Miller snapped, pointing toward the exit. "Get out of here and reschedule properly. You're taking up space needed for patients who respect our time." The entire waiting room had fallen silent. Children clung to their parents, and everyone avoided making eye contact with the furious doctor. Robert slowly stood up, his expression thoughtful rather than angry. "Is this how you speak to all your patients, doctor?" "I speak however I need to when people don't follow the rules," Dr. Miller replied, crossing his arms. "Now are you leaving, or do I need to call security?" Robert nodded slowly, reaching into his inner jacket pocket. "I'll leave, but first..." He pulled out a business card and his ID badge that identified him as Robert Downey, CEO and owner of Westside Medical Centers. He handed them to Dr. Miller without another word. The doctor's face transformed instantly. The color drained away, replaced by a sickly paleness as he stared at the card and ID. His hands began to tremble slightly. "Mr. Downey, I had no idea. We weren't informed of your visit." "That was rather the point, Doctor." "Miller," Robert said, his voice still calm but now carrying unmistakable authority. The waiting room remained silent, but now patients were watching with interest, sensing the dramatic shift in power. Robert took back his card and addressed the doctor, speaking just loudly enough for everyone to hear. "Healthcare isn't just about medical expertise. It's about compassion, respect, and remembering that every person who walks through those doors is someone in need of help, not an inconvenience." Dr. Miller swallowed hard. "Sir, I can explain. Today has been particularly challenging, and Robert raised his hand, stopping the doctor mid-sentence. "I'm not interested in excuses. I've seen and heard enough. Please come to my office tomorrow at 9 a.m. sharp. Bring your resignation letter. Your behavior today reflects values that are fundamentally incompatible with this hospital's mission. A murmur spread through the waiting room. The nurse who had been keeping her head down now looked up, a small smile of vindication on her face. Robert turned to address everyone in the waiting room. I sincerely apologize for what you've witnessed today and for any similar treatment you may have received in the past. This is not what Westside Medical Center stands for. I give you my word that things will change, starting immediately. He then turned to the nurse at the station. What's your name? Sarah Johnson, sir, she replied, standing a bit straighter. Sarah, please make sure everyone in this room today receives priority rescheduling and a follow-up call to ensure their concerns are addressed. Starting tomorrow, you'll be working with our patient advocacy team to implement new customer service protocols. Yes, sir, she nodded, looking both surprised and pleased. As Robert walked toward the exit, he stopped once more and turned to Dr. Miller, who still stood frozen in place. Medicine is a privilege, doctor. We treat people on what might be the worst day of their lives. Never forget that. The following morning, all staff members at Westside Medical Center received an email announcing Dr. Miller's departure and outlining new patient care standards. The email concluded with a quote, "Every patient deserves to be treated with the same care and respect you would want for your own family. No exceptions." Within a month, patient satisfaction scores at the hospital had risen by 40%. And every few weeks, Robert Downey would make another unannounced visit, sometimes as a patient, sometimes as a visitor, but always watching to ensure that the care people received was exactly what he would want for himself. If you enjoyed this story about karma and justice, hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell. You won't want to miss our next incredible true story. Remember, you never know who might be watching, so always treat others with kindness and respect. Thanks for watching True Life Stories, where real lessons come from real moments.